Hey everyone, and welcome back to the channel. Today we're diving deep into a topic that's both fascinating and a little bit unsettling, a massive 100-foot fissure that has recently appeared. You might have seen some dramatic photos or videos of this giant crack in the earth, and it's understandably raising a lot of questions and concerns, especially about safety and the potential for landslides. So what's really going on here? Is this a sign of something catastrophic, or is it a natural geological process we can understand and prepare for? Let's break down the science behind these incredible formations. First, let's get a handle on what a fissure actually is. In geology, a fissure is simply a long, narrow crack or opening in the ground. They can be caused by a variety of forces. Tectonic activity is a big one. When the Earth's plates pull apart, the ground can literally rip open. This is common in places like Iceland or the East African Rift Valley. Another major cause is volcanic activity, where magma moving beneath the surface can cause the ground above to stretch and crack. And sometimes it's all about water. The withdrawal of large amounts of groundwater can cause the land to sink and fracture, a process known as subsidence. So the first step for scientists investigating this 100-foot fissure is to figure out which of these forces, or maybe a combination of them, is the culprit. To do this, geologists become detectives. They'll use a range of tools and techniques. GPS stations can measure tiny movements in the ground, down to the millimeter, revealing if the land is stretching or sinking. Ground-penetrating radar can create a picture of what's happening beneath the surface, showing hidden faults or layers of different rock and soil. They'll also analyze the rock and soil types in the area. Certain types of soil, like those rich in clay, can expand when they get wet and shrink dramatically when they dry out. This shrink-swell cycle can create significant stress on the ground, leading to large cracks over time, especially after periods of extreme drought followed by heavy rain. This is a common cause of fissures in many parts of the world. Now for the big question, does a fissure like this mean a landslide is imminent? The answer is, it depends. A fissure is definitely a warning sign. It shows that the ground is unstable and under stress. Think of it like a crack in a dam. It doesn't mean the dam will burst tomorrow, but it's a clear indicator of a weakness that needs to be monitored very, very closely. The presence of a fissure, especially on a slope, can significantly increase the risk of a landslide. It acts as a ready-made pathway for water to seep deep into the hillside. This water lubricates the layers of soil and rock, reducing friction and making it much easier for a whole section of the slope to give way and slide downhill. The risk gets even higher if the fissure runs parallel to the slope of a hill. This creates a predefined block of earth that's already partially detached from the main landmass. All it might take is a trigger event, like a heavy downpour or a small earthquake, to send that entire block tumbling down. This is why when a fissure of this size appears, especially near populated areas, authorities take it extremely seriously. They'll set up exclusion zones to keep people safe and deploy monitoring equipment to watch for any further movement. They are essentially looking for signs that the crack is getting wider or longer, or that the land on one side of it is starting to creep downwards. So, how do we live with these kinds of geological hazards? We can't stop the Earth from moving, but we can get much better at predicting and preparing for it. This is where science and engineering come together. Besides monitoring, engineers might use techniques to stabilize the slope. This could involve installing rock bolts, which are long steel rods drilled into the hillside to pin unstable layers of rock together. They might also build retaining walls at the base of a slope to hold back soil and rock. Improving drainage is also crucial. By creating channels and pipes to divert rainwater away from the fissure and the unstable area, they can prevent the ground from becoming overly saturated and reduce the landslide risk. Another key part of the solution is land use planning. Geologists create hazard maps that identify areas with a high risk of fissures, landslides, or other ground failures. These maps are vital for city planners and local governments. They help them make informed decisions about where it's safe to build homes, schools, and infrastructure like roads and pipelines. If an area is identified as high risk, construction might be prohibited, or it might be required to follow much stricter building codes designed to withstand ground movement. It's all about working with nature, not against it, and respecting the dynamic and ever-changing planet we live on. It's also important for us, as individuals, to be aware. If you live in a geologically active area or on or near a steep slope, it's wise to know the warning signs of ground instability. These can include new cracks appearing in plaster, foundations, or pavement, doors or windows that stick or jam for the first time, or the appearance of tilted trees, fences, or utility poles. If you see a fissure like the one we're discussing, the most important thing to do is stay away and report it to your local authorities. Never go exploring inside one of these cracks. They can be incredibly unstable, and the ground around them could collapse without warning. In the case of this specific 100-foot fissure, scientists will continue their investigation for weeks and months to come. They will collect data, build computer models to simulate how the ground might behave under different conditions, and provide their findings to emergency management officials. This scientific work is the foundation of public safety. It allows for a calm, rational, and effective response, moving beyond fear and into proactive management. It's a powerful example of how understanding our planet helps us live on it more safely. The Earth is constantly shifting, and these events, while alarming, are also a reminder of the immense geological forces that have shaped our world over millions of years. To wrap up, this giant fissure is a serious geological event that rightfully raises concerns about landslide risks and safety. It's a stark visual of the power of nature, but it's also a fantastic real-world classroom. By studying it, we learn more about the specific geology of the region and refine our methods for predicting and mitigating these hazards globally. It underscores the importance of funding geological surveys and investing in scientific monitoring. It's this knowledge that turns a potential disaster into a manageable hazard and keeps our communities safe. Thanks so much for joining me on this deep dive today. I hope this explanation was helpful and gave you a clearer picture of what's happening beneath our feet. If you found this interesting, please hit that like button and consider subscribing for more science content. Drop your questions and thoughts in the comments below. I love reading them and will try to answer as many as I can. Stay curious, stay safe, and I'll see you in the next video.